Good day, everyone. Welcome to USERT Project Roadshow presentation, a project about user-centered energy performance assessment and certification. My name is Domen Bancic from Institute for Innovation and Development of University of Ljubljana, and today I'll be talking about energy performance certificates for the people and the lessons learned in the USERT project. The agenda has four main sections. The first one on the mission of USERT project, the second one dealing with what EPCs actually are. Then we'll have a look at people-centered development approach that we used in USERT, and finally look at some of the outcomes of the research. If USERT project has many goals, its main mission could be framed in terms of searching for pathways to making the existing energy performance certificates more people-centered in the future. What this means is that we want to encourage and support end users in decision-making, particularly on deep renovation, by nudging them to make better purchasing and instill trust in them by making added value of energy-efficient buildings visible, and particularly through the use of the energy performance certificates. In practical terms, this also means that the assessment process and the certificates themselves should be more reliable, user-friendly, and cost-effective. They should also have comparably good quality and be compliant with the EU legislation in order to instill trust in the market and incite investments in high-performance buildings. But let's take a step back firstly and ask ourselves what energy performance certificates actually are. In words of the European Commission, they are supposed to be instruments that provide owners and tenants, also managers of the building, with useful information about the energy performance of the building, and also about the purpose and objectives of the building renovation, as well as cost-effective ways and perhaps also financial instruments to be used to improve the energy performance of the building. In fact, the ambitions associated with the EPCs are manifold. For one, they are supposed to provide a reliable assessment of the energy performance of a building and propose potential measures to improve the performance. Secondly, they were also designed with the thought to influence the real estate property market, particularly by informing and influencing buyers and renters of the properties, and influence their willingness to pay a price premium, let's say, for energy efficient buildings. Next, they were made to influence the construction market development and support the sector of building renovations and retrofitting, informing and influencing existing homeowners and their willingness to invest into energy efficient buildings. Finally, they were also meant to provide ground for systemic data-based analysis and evaluation of the quality of housing stock, as well as monitoring and evaluating of improvements through time. Interestingly, although the idea behind energy performance certificates is rather specific, the answer to the question, why do we have energy performance certificates, varies significantly depending on who you ask. A policymaker might say that we have energy performance certificates to monitor improvements in the housing stock and keep track of our collective progress on the way to climate neutrality goals. An EPC policy developer might say that EPCs should be used to inform building professionals about the building physics of the assessed property. An EPC assessor or issuer might say EPCs are used to inform buyers, renters, and owners of buildings about the energy performance quality of a specific real estate property and advise on how to improve it. A building professional might say it's only useful to comply with the regulation. And finally, an EPC user might say, well, I don't really know why we have or why we need an EPC. I just want to buy, sell, or rent a property, so just tell me what I need to do that. In USERT, we know that the answer varies significantly because we talked to a lot of people. In fact, we involved more than 190 people from 11 different countries into more than 100 interviews and 11 focus groups. And what was the outcome? Well, in simple words, the outcome of our research was a lot of recorded different views and opinions, as well as a lot of question marks and misunderstandings. In fact, the outcome of our research made us rethink the ambitions associated with the EPCs, which we've noted earlier in the presentation, and made us think what could be done to make them more achievable. For instance, EPCs are supposed to be guiding building owners towards a decision for building renovation. However rational and technically feasible this idea might seem, there's a lot of hidden aspects and factors that actually influence the decision-making process. This is because building renovation is not an easy decision. It could be argued that due to the scale of investment, of time, energy, and resources, as well as the long-term consequences that it brings, it could be compared to other important life decisions, such as which job to accept or when to retire. And this is particularly true for individual homeowners. In this respect, it's important to stress that buildings are not simply combinations of material structures and technologies. They're much more than that. They are social objects associated with a lot of different meanings, values, and practices of everyday life. And as such, they often form part of identities of either individuals or entire communities. Now that we have a better understanding of buildings as a social object and its diverse impact on decision making, let's go back to the EPCs. Everyone involved in our UCERT ethnographic research came across or should have come across an EPC at some point in the past 5 years. Surprisingly, only few of them found the document useful, say when thinking about how EPCs could help them to improve their property or purchase. In contrast, many more did not know how to make use of the document or for some reason found it useless altogether. Moreover, some recent buyers of property have not even looked at the document once, although the seller was legally obliged to provide it at the point of purchase. Existing EPCs therefore have limited impact with respect to the ambitions with which they are associated. When it comes to building renovations, it turns out that many people find such projects too risky and complicated to start with. Often, this is due to the daunting scale of investment of time and energy, as well as the uncertainties associated with it. In addition, the general population has relatively little knowledge and experience in this area, which clearly contributes to the lack of action. Luckily, however, we have building professionals and other people who have the knowledge and capacity to facilitate such processes. By raising awareness and sharing their expert knowledge and experience, EPCs can turn from a piece of paper into a map that guides people towards and beyond their goals for improving the energy performance of their building. In many cases, it turns out that finances and technical challenges are not a real problem. All we need is more constructive collaboration and proactive search for solutions tailored to the specific building, as well as the specific capacities and wishes of the owners and managers of the property. To round up with our example of building renovations, the EPCs should therefore be seen as a tool for communication between the people who want to renovate buildings and the experts who know how to do it. Such conclusion shows that the UCERT purpose is right. To realize it, we are dedicated to support convergence of EPC methods and standards across the EU, to develop tools for professionals working on the energy performance of building directive and energy performance certificates, to develop a new generation of EPC features that enable people-centered energy performance assessment and certification, which among others would include new indicators, new EPC designs, and the digitalization of energy performance certificates. All this means that we're creating ground for a new generation of EPC assessment and certification. In simple terms, this means that future EPCs will support homeowners and managers with answering some basic questions, such as where to find reliable information, which service providers, product providers, and contractors to trust, and also to assess the reasonable scope of the project considering the available finances and identify priorities, and no less important, to help assess the consequences of not doing the renovation. In so doing, the UCERT project is in line with the forthcoming revised energy performance of building directive in many aspects. such as by highlighting comfort, lower energy bills, improved health, and other non-energy benefits of building renovation, facilitating the interaction between key stakeholders involved in the building renovation process, developing tools to alleviate energy poverty, further developing renovation passports and digital logbooks, supporting further digitalization of the built environment, and also guiding occupants' decision-making. Our team of experts from UCERT is therefore creating ground for better future EPCs for the people, and importantly, with the people, to improve the design of the assessment service, design of the certificate, the quality and reliability of EPCs, and finally, its practical usefulness for the general population. Thank you for listening in and joining us on our journey.